So you've probably seen the new Tesla Cybertruck. It's a little unique, we'll say. Not gonna give any hot takes on it, I'm pretty sure you've heard enough, but what we're going to be doing is going back to sort of where that shape came from. Let's go back to the kit cars of the 70s with the Wedge. So what we're going to attempt to do here is recreate a kit car from the 70s. I saw an advertisement for it on Jalopnik, I believe, but what we're going to be doing is making a 16 horsepower, well, pretty heavy kit car. So this is what I'm going for in terms of chassis. It doesn't have to be fancy. We'll make a brand new engine for this thing. Alright, that just makes perfect sense right there. And it's going to be an inline 3. Again, it needs to be very, very small. Having 16 horsepower is going to make this thing, well, predictably slow, but I think it's going to be fun either way. So essentially what I've done is I've just made it the smallest it can be. We'll probably shrink it even more because we just don't need all of this displacement. Let's make it a 200cc engine. And all of this stuff doesn't matter. No turbos. Well, we don't even have the option of turbos in 1970. Let's put a carburetor on it. Let's make it a single carb. And we'll just put it on low quality fuel as well. Okay, so it officially makes 1 horsepower. That's not a great start. Let's see if we can get a little bit more out of it. So it's a naturally aspirated engine, which means we can, well, first things first, we're going to need more fuel. The car itself only gets 85, but it needs 97, so we've got to raise this up. Okay, it seems like on 85 I'm going to have a lot of issues trying to get up to the right level that we need, up to 16 horsepower, so I'm putting it up to 92. That should give us a little bit more breathing room so that we can raise up the compression and hopefully get to 16 horsepower. Oh, it's starting to knock. So if you put the fuel mixture up one more tick, it just breaks it instantly and we get a flatliner. But I'm just going to have to, I don't even know here, might have to increase the size of it. So it only makes 8 horsepower, but I'm kind of satisfied with that. I think what we're going to have to do though, is as funny as it was, we're just going to have to raise up the displacement because there doesn't seem to be a way to get up to that level without having at least some displacement. Alright, 14 horsepower. It says that it's underpowered, but that's good enough. Alright, on we go. Alright, so what we want to do, I'm thinking we'll pick the, well, this coupe version here. This is the 2 doors here, but if you look at the other variants, there's 2 doors back here. I don't know, I guess this could also be the front if you really wanted it to be. And then this one is a 4-door. But we'll go with the regular-ish looking coupe. So in terms of color, I'm thinking we just paint the entire thing black, but it's going to be a plastic black, and it'll be one off of the shade of black. Tends to work well for Beam, I find, so it'll look a little bit weird in here, but overall, plastic black it is. And of course the trim is going to be plastic black, and the wheels, I don't know, steel is fine. Brakes, plastic black. Okay, fixtures, this is where things get interesting. We do have a few options for this car. It doesn't need much. I don't think it would actually be street legal with such low horsepower. It's basically a moped, only a lot heavier. So let's put on some lights. I really didn't think that finding lights for something this round would be so much of a challenge, but here we are. They're in. I guess that works. Obviously they can't be chrome though. They've got to be black plastic just like everything else. And the engine itself really doesn't need much cooling, but I guess we can put a grill on there. It doesn't really need it though. Very old style grill coming in. We'll just make it real small. Again, this thing is extremely basic. Alright, before we go too far, we definitely need door handles of some kind. Probably something like this would make the most sense. Implying that this build makes any sense at all, because it really doesn't. 16 horsepower, like, my goodness. So the wheels, we can probably get away with the steel wheels it has on it, but I gotta find something else here. Probably just the most basic looking old wheels as possible. Oh yeah, that would be them right there. And then exhaust, it is a front engine car, but we'll just kind of pretend that it has exhaust all the way out the back. It's just gonna be a little tiny tip like this. Alright, so we definitely need some rear lights of some kind. Before I forget about it, it's pretty easy to forget about these. Oh, looks like we've got a big style section here of old style lights. Oh, okay, maybe they're just a little bit too old. So I've got a bit of a smaller issue. The engine itself has not appeared inside of the car. as it usually would when I skip over to Drivetrain. So I'm kind of wondering if this is even gonna work. We might have to come back and add more power, but style-wise, there isn't much that needs to be done. That's almost it. I think I might just add like a very small vent here. I think most of this video is going to end up just being me trying it, seeing if I can actually get it to work. Alright, so I've skipped around to the drivetrain here. We've got front wheel drive, manual, 2 speeds. It doesn't need any more speeds than that. 102 is its max apparently, so I don't know, we'll just kind of pretend that that's actually possible. Skipping ahead, we've got radial tires, and hard long life definitely makes the most sense. I mean, we could definitely go cross-ply too, let's be real. The lighter the better on this thing. Now the wheels themselves are way too big, so I'm going to shrink them. We basically need bicycle wheels, so 90 is perfect. Just to make it, I don't know, look a little bit better, we'll put them out a bit, but not too much because this adds weight, as we found out during one of the showcases. 14s make sense, but I think I'm going to make them 13s. And moving on, okay, brakes, this is kind of important. Oh, the engine appeared. Thank goodness, so that means we have an actual working exhaust, and that means it's probably going to export correctly. So the brakes are going to be just drum brakes, like the smallest ones you can get, and no under tray, no aerodynamics, and interior is just going to be 2 half seats. Basic interior, no entertainment. No power steering, no safety. Oh boy, okay, suspension, here's where things get awkward. Standard springs. Twin tube, I guess? That's probably a little bit too complicated. Oh, look at that, they've updated this so it shows you where you want the line. And it's also updated to show where my line is incredibly not within that. So what I'm going to do really quickly is I'm going to go back here. I'm going to change the panel material to be fiberglass, but we're going to keep ladder and steel for the materials, just because I want it to be ever so slightly lighter, because it just weighed way too much. Like, there's no way we would get it going with steel body. Okay, looking at the graph, you can see the things are real shaky up here, and apparently 103 is our new top speed. Let's just bring this a little bit beyond. It's always good practice. That'll give us maybe a little bit more space there. So we can actually get up to 41 kilometers an hour in first gear, but I don't really trust that, so I'm going to raise up the spacing. That might help out a little bit. Okay, so as we discussed before, it really should be in between the lines, but it's not, so don't worry about it. It's going to be so slow it won't matter anyways. Brakes, I basically just made them super basic. You can see, let's see, so our front grip line is down here. Our front brakes are way up here, so they're way too big. We can shrink those down. And our rear grip is actually above our rear brakes, so they actually should be bigger. Okay, this is getting a bit awkward. Instead of doing that, I'm just going to put the front brake bias up, because evidently that's going to work out better for us than making the back brakes bigger. Aerodynamics doesn't matter, this thing is a wedge. It's got perfect aerodynamics, let's be real. And interior and stuff, I think we're good. Overall, it's not great. Ride height is something I haven't really thought about. Like, I just slapped on a normal preset and I was like, that's good enough. But we could make this thing into a monster truck if we really wanted to. I think though it's probably going to be low. Probably maybe 230 mils. And so there we go. It's a 13.8 horsepower, 631.1 kilos, which is really heavy. So it's not going to be a light thing at all. I'm kind of debating now, maybe we should start to wind this back a little bit from the realism and try to make it a little bit lighter. I know it's possible to get cars down to under 200 kilos in this game, but then they don't work in Beam, so yeah, that's probably going to be good enough. We'll try it. If it doesn't work, we'll come back. Super minimalistic, very, very simple. Let's see what it looks like in Beam. So I've got some good news. The wedge actually works. I'm surprised. The first gear, despite it only having 14 horsepower, actually kind of rips. It's pretty fast, all things considered. Mostly just because it weighs way too much. It would be a lot faster if I had made it lighter, but that's not really the point of this. This is more of a realistic kit car instead of a fantasy one, but we could totally try and lighten this thing up if you wanted to see that. Maybe in another video, but yeah, you can see, just driving it as we are in first gear, it gets up to 35 without any issues, and then once you shift into second, it kind of just dies for a while, but it'll get up to speed. It'll just take a long time to do so. I think though, honestly, if you're able to get up to 40 Ks, oh, there's a ramp there. Well, that was pretty enthusiastic. But if you're able to get up to 40 kilometers an hour in a car like this, then you're already going to be scared. I don't know if you really want to do much more than that. Honestly, I was kind of hoping that we could do 1 speed, but I know automation can't do that. It has minimum 2. Seeing though, as I already kind of knew that, I probably should have put it on 3 speed, just to give us that extra momentum. Just makes it just a little bit better. So what are we going to do with this, you might ask? Well, I think what I'm going to attempt to do first is compare it to some of the other cars that I've made in the past. Now, this one does weigh 600 kilos, which is quite a bit. In fact, I believe that's more than the Buco, which has double the horsepower. But let's try, and we'll just quickly spawn a Buco. I'll just spawn run one right next to this. Oh yeah, we're going for the most basic of the Bucos as well. The original Buco versus this car. I'm gonna make it chase me. We'll see if it can hunt me down. Alright, so I'm gonna take the Buco real quick. I'm just gonna back it up so I get a bit of a head start here, because this car is very obviously quicker. You can see it's faster in reverse than the Wedge is in forward. But we'll just put it back here somewhere. I don't know, just leave it here. Shut off the engine. Actually, we're gonna need that back on. But what you can do if you are interested in this game, you can go AI, and you can have them chase you. And so the Buco should start giving chase, and we'll be off in the mega slow car. All I'm gonna do is try not to be destroyed. These i3s are... ooh. Okay, the Buco's putting up a good fight so far. That was a close one. Now that I'm in second gear though, we're gonna warp into light speed. I'm really trying to give it a chance though. It is, the AI is having a hard time driving it. Oh, okay, it did get a bit of a tap on me, but I think it's gonna need more than that. Any sort of slight incline in this car is just a disaster. Like, it is really hard to climb any sort of hill, as I will demonstrate in a moment. Okay, maybe a few moments as it takes to get over there. We got a Buco on our tail though, so this isn't gonna end well. Ooh, okay, a bit of a speed bump, I'll take it. Okay, our back end's a little bit messed up, but there really isn't anything there on this car, it's just empty, so I'll take that. Seems the Buco's lost a bit of momentum on the cliff over there, but we'll just keep taking him for a wild ride. I know the Buco is faster, so I was really hoping this would be more of a chase. Alright, we have the cinematic camera on, giving us only the best angles here. It's actually, like, legitimately catching up now. I fear for my life. These i3s are such bad sounding engines though in this game. They just do not come out right. Okay, a bit of an S movement here. I'm gonna go down into first. Ooh, seems like I've deked him. See, if anybody's asking me what I'm doing with my life, then I just tell them I'm racing really slow cars against each other in a simulation game. Then they know how lame I am. Well, I kind of just beached myself here, so I'm hoping that the Buco comes and saves me. But until then, I probably should mention, so I've got my summer car now, and I'm wondering if anybody's actually interested in seeing me play that, because I can definitely make videos on it, and I might even do one this week if there's enough interest, so just let me know. Oh goodness, the Buco managed to get onto the track. I think it might have thought that I was on the track there, but it's actually circling the track right now by itself. I did not do this. This is actually a very odd sight to see. Oh, it's attempting to mount the curb, and it did it successfully. The AI is giving proper chase now. Okay, I'm actually gonna have issues. These cars just sound like a swarm of hornets. Alright, I gave the Buco a bit of a tap there. Kinda completely broke the front of the car, and now I'm currently being pushed. We may have been crash welded to the Buco. I am not sure. Alright, for one final test before I switch maps, we try something else with this car. I want to crash into this Buco at max speed from here, and we'll see what kind of damage it does. This may take a while. Alright, here we go. Come on. 36. Okay, that barely did anything. Apparently the Buco's pretty safe. which is surprising because it's all negative quality sliders. So I've brought the wedge to a time trial. Specifically, it is a giant oval on the dirt. I don't know if this is going to go well, but we're going to try it. That torque graph really does look bleak though. I think we're supposed to have gone at this point, but we have not currently gone. Okay, there we go. Apparently just revving it up at the beginning is not going to make it work for us. One thing we haven't gotten to test yet is the brakes, but I don't think that they really mean too much with this car. Okay, so far so good. The dirt oval is going well. Probably could have tried this on the tarmac, might have been a little bit better, but yeah, it seems like first gear is the one to be in this car. That's where all the power is. So we're just gonna end up buzzing the limiter this entire race, it seems. But it's actually able to do these laps in, I guess, reasonable time, 39 seconds. I'm trying to think of something that I have that could be potentially around this same class. But I don't think I've made anything this slow before. Like, this might be the slowest car I've ever made in automation. Oh, that was a 33-second run right there. Not bad. Okay, let's try something different. So we need to answer the question, is the Cyberwedge slower than a city bus on this oval? I think the answer is yes, but I'm going to try it anyways. I think that first lap was probably a bad representation of the start, so the first lap in the bus is just going to be a practice more or less. Okay, already we're averaging a higher speed than the car does, so I think we might have got this one unless something drastically terrible happens. It's not Wreckfest, but it's pretty close. Okay, well, I think I just answered my own question. First lap, 22 seconds. I need to find something slower, that's my new quest. Okay, I've got to admit, the city bus is pretty slow. 18 seconds was its fastest lap. For a 40-second total, that is a lot faster. So the city bus managed to get an 18-second run, whereas the Cyberwedge managed a 33-second run. But I was thinking, this very long drag pigeon, it has issues that prevent it from driving straight at any speed at all, except on the drag strip where the grip is much more significant. So what if we try this on this dirt track? This might be the death of me here, but let's try it. This thing basically sits on a bus frame. It is just massive. Okay, immediately we're having traction issues. Obviously speed is going to be high, but if I can keep it controlled, oh, it really wants to roll over just like every pigeon does. Okay, I think I might have found my answer right away. This thing is also faster than the bus. Goodness. And immediately it's rolled. Ooh, but it's rolled back onto its wheels here so we can actually continue. Its overall time might actually be faster than the bus still? Yeah, faster. Okay, that was 8 seconds faster. We need to find something even slower. Okay, last one, I promise. We've got a camper truck here. This thing should be pretty slow. It is off-road spec, but I mean, it's ridiculously heavy. It's full of stuff in there. So let's give it a try. Honestly, I think it's probably going to be around the same speed as the bus. Okay, so our average speed with the wedge was a lot slower than this thing currently is. It's very tippy, so we have to stay off the top of the track there. But that's 14 seconds already, so I'm not going to be beating the pigeon, which is a good thing, at least for my own scales here. Let's see though, 23 seconds. Okay, so it's faster than the wedge, but it is slower than the bus. Interesting. Alright, coming around the last corner. I mean, this is probably one of the most simple tracks that I could ever choose for this. But that was a lot faster. That was 18 seconds. So it's about the same speed as the bus, but slower overall. Goodness, it seems like the wedge is unmatched in slowness. Well, it's a little sad, but I think the wedge is finally done. I'm at the Tough Truck Challenge map, but I don't think we're gonna get anywhere here. Let's just go till we can't. And then that'll be it for the video. Let's try and do this little track. Okay, front wheel drive is not helping us with that significant overhang. It seems like that might be it. Our wheels are in the air. We are completely beached. But that's a pretty interesting car. It's a little bit worse than I actually anticipated it being. I thought it would be a little bit more capable than that. I was kind of hoping it would be a little bit more capable than that, but you know what? For a tiny kit car like this, can't complain too much. It's more of a joke than anything. Definitely one of the worst cars I've made. It doesn't even have mirrors or a fuel cap, and yes, I see that before you comment it, don't worry. So if you want to see a stripped out version of this thing, let me know. If you want to see me play my summer car, let me know. But for now, it's a much shorter video than usual. That is going to be it. Before you go too far though, I've got some people I need to thank. Specifically, Canadian Steel, Boris Ramirez, Overlord, Slow Fried Chicken 69, and Justin. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it a lot, especially as I'm trying to buy this new computer. Things are very expensive right now, but I appreciate your continued support. Anyway, if you want to join this crew, click that join button. I'd appreciate it a lot. I'll see you again on Friday. Gonna try to get back into maybe a little bit of a longer video. We'll see.